The second expression of Libra is called reflection. And in this batch of 5 Sabian degrees, we begin with the image in Libra 6 of the ideals of a man abundantly crystallized. The way in which we create our reality is through visualization. This is a profound wisdom, really quite exceptional when you think it through. It's not a shared reality. It's an individual reality that we have. We seem to share it, and there are bits which are communal. You know, we have the sun rising, and we have the force of gravity, and so on. There's all of those things that we're collectively seeing as real, but the particularity, the details, and our response to it all, anyway, is absolutely unique. And when we actually consider how we crystallize the range of possibility, which is infinite, into something particular, which is ours, which is our reality, we come to understand that the way we do that is by the focus of our attention. Again, a very profound realization comes out of this. Whatever we give our attention to crystallizes the realm of potential, probability, into the facts of the matter. Now, this is quantum mechanics, and it's 100 years old in our consciousness as a species, but we haven't embodied this at all. We still behave as though reality is what it is and we have to put up with it. It's not the case. And what Libra can do for us is to show us how best to approach that wisdom. They don't readily make up their minds about what's going on, Libra. They think, well, it could be that, but it could be that. This is the scales that they measure things with, and usually it's applied to relationship. What do you want? What do I want? And so on. And it's applied to indecisiveness. Oh, I could do this and I could do that. But in this particular case, like reality, well, it actually could be that. But if I shape it differently with the force of my attention, I could make it into that. And this quality of Libra as being quite cardinal. It's a cardinal sign, and it's air. So the cardinality is on this level of mentation. What they do with their minds is takes the initiative. They create their perception of what's going on rather more readily and naturally than the other signs. So that's Libra 6. And then when we get to Libra 7, we come to the idea of there might be danger, and we have to protect ourselves against that. This woman feeding chickens and protecting her brood from the hawks. And Libra would do that too, you know, like, it's okay for the moment, but it doesn't have to be. There might be danger, there could be, you know. That's the one thing that we have to take into account here. There could be. And this gives us pause. Rather than just going helter-skelter into one realm of behavior, one reality, committing ourselves to one person, one relationship, one course of action. What about what could happen? Do we guard against that? And I know this flies against the general idea of having faith in life, that we should not anticipate bad news, because the anticipation itself will attract the bad news. That's the teaching of the first degree of this batch. But the second degree is, however optimistic we are, come on, let's be reasonable. We're not omnipotent. We're not the all-powerful being of the universe. Something could go wrong, and eventually will go wrong. That's the reality of it. So we have to introduce protections against that, because if we don't, we're simply not fulfilling our responsibilities. The hen has chicks, and the chicks can't protect themselves, so it's her job to anticipate danger. And a good mother knows this. A good mother teaches the child, no, don't go towards the fire. That'll hurt. it's a natural thing to anticipate the possibility of harm, of attack even. And the very delicate balance that we need to find between, on the one hand, being reckless and ignoring danger, and on the other, attracting it by our fear of it. That's an incredibly tight, nice balance. We have to do that really carefully. Anticipating the possibility of danger and attracting danger because we expect it. That's not the same thing. And most people don't discriminate very well between that. And Libra has that ability. Now, the blazing fireplace in a deserted home, Libra 8, this indicates that even though we're not there looking after our own interests, we're not at home, the fireplace is warm, the hearth is ready for us. There's this sense of being able to return to safe space, even though we've concerned ourselves with protecting against harm. We can go home, and still there's this sense of well-being, comfort, security. And when we translate this metaphor into reality, what we can understand is that however hard life gets, we have guardian angels. Now, you could interpret guardian angels whichever way you want. One interpretation is that there are angels, disembodied beings, who are on our side, taking care of us. They support us. And you can make up your own model for why they do that and who they are and what is their relationship to us. And there are all manner of ways of interpreting that. And another interpretation is that the higher self, the soul, is much more aware of what's going on than the ego is, and so is looking after us. And because we're not in soul consciousness, we think of that force, which is in fact who we are, acting in our own best interests. It seems to be a third party, another being doing it, but in fact it's our own soul acting for us. But whichever model you use is fine. Now in Libra 9 we have the 3 old masters hanging in the art gallery. Old masters, precious artworks from the past. They've survived the test of hundreds of years of social approval and appraisal and protection and so on. And the beauty and the wisdom and the knowledge that's been put into these artworks, that gets carried into the future from the distant past into the unforeseeable future. It won't be carried forward unless it's worthwhile. We don't keep really bad pictures. We keep the good ones. And that's true for wisdom too. Things that are quite important right now, how to open a file in your computer and operate Zoom and all of these real important skills right now, they weren't important 50 years ago, and they may not be important 50 years from now. But being kind to someone in need, that's always been wisdom, and it always will be. So there are certain aspects of what we know which are deeper, more important than other things that we know, despite appearances, actually. And so this whole thing of reflecting on life and finding out what opportunities they are, what we need to do, focusing the mind to grasp those opportunities, guarding against danger, knowing that we're safe, come what may, and learning the difference between what to discard or just give peripheral attention to, and what to treasure and look more deeply into to keep alive, because the transmission that comes from the past, the elders carry us through to the wisdom of the future, because they're dealing in principles, solid, permanent principles. That's what we're talking about in Libra 9. And in Libra 10, the canoe that's approaching safety through dangerous water. This is a state of being calm, poise. And I think that once again we have to congratulate Libra for knowing what poise really is. They have this impeccable sense of the perfection of balance. And it is because they reflect upon things. They take the other point of view. This whole thing of reflexive self-awareness is primary in Libra. And when you see that you can make it up your own way, you've got to take care of yourself, you're guarded by angelic forces, and you're tuning in to the permanent long-term wisdom, that sets up this sense of calm, poise and reflection. And this is something that we can all learn. We don't have to be Libra to learn this. It's just that Libra can teach it better than the rest of us can. But this sense of just noticing what's going on and believing that we can cope, come what may, this comes from reflection. And meditation is how we come to that state of being within which this poise arises.